Yes, everybody, Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. Happy Friday. Well done. You've got yourself through another week. Congratulations. Give yourself a slap on the back. And obviously, we start our descent, or probably, hopefully, our ascent to the London Stadium. London Stadium in tomorrow. Sheffield United. If you want to see if they're still worried, if they're still pissed off about the whole Tevez saga, go and check out my interview with Hal from Sheffield United way. He's still bitter. Although he does say that it's all about Tevez, and everyone forgets about Mascherano. But obviously, as I said, it's because Alan Pardew preferred him. Preferred Hayden Mullins to Mascherano. But what we're going to do, and what we've got today is we got a special guest on today to try and to have a different face, and also just to get a different opinion rather than myself and Anton or Holly's opinion or Matt or Luke. So we're going to get quite regularly get different people on to give you guys just another face. But we've got Rory from Flat Party, who's not only a fantastic musician, but more importantly, is a hammer. And that's what we want. Let's bring him in. We just pressed the right button. Rory, how are we doing, man?
Hello, mate. Yeah, all good, thanks. All good. Thanks for having me on.
No, it's all right, man. Do you know what? Obviously, we'll talk about the band stuff. Let's get the West Ham stuff out of the way first. And then Ed can shut up then. So, obviously, Sheffield United tomorrow on the back of 2 defeats now. We've got to turn it around, don't we?
Yeah, 100%. I'm feeling, these are the kind of games that make me a lot more nervous than your Liverpool's, your Man City's, because there's that pressure to win. And I know it's easy to look at their defeat against Newcastle last week, but I like that's in the past now. They've obviously worked on that a bit, because they put up a fight against City, Spurs.
They've played,
so
yeah, they have.
The Newcastle result was quite a shock. So I honestly couldn't predict tomorrow, but I'm hopeful. I know they've conceded most goals from set pieces, so if we just get Ward-Prowse doing his thing, we should be fine.
It's true. It's like I remember that first game he joined, and then and it was like the excitement for a corner was like Payet-esque. It was like, oh, he's got a corner. James Ward-Prowse is good at corners, and the first one like whipped in, and he just missed it, and the second one I think again scored it as well.
Yeah,
and the Chelsea game, but. Yeah, no, it's funny. We had Howe on from Sheffield United way, who's still bitter about Tevez gate, and and he was saying, do you know what? It's like it says, the fact is, we're bottom of the league. We just lost 8-0 to Newcastle, and we're playing the team I probably hate the most in West Ham. So it's like, is this a recipe for disaster? But you're totally right. It's just, to be honest, we go into the game with no fear at all because we've just lost 8-0. So.
Yeah.
We've got it all to do. We've got the pressure off us. Everybody expects us to go down. We're bottom of the league, yada yada. West Ham, they got to win the game, and you're right. I think if we don't win, I don't want to sound all Spursy about it, but if we don't win tomorrow, then it's going to the tide's going to turn very, very quickly at West Ham, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I think it'll be interesting to see how Moyes sets us up, because obviously we've had Liverpool, City. He's played Souček and Alvarez. So, yeah, it'll be interesting because obviously we all want to see Kudus starting. But then who does he drop?
That's the trouble. You're right, and we know and we know what David Moyes does. We know this. The obvious thing is, you're playing a side who's just lost 8-0. So the normal, not normal. That's the wrong. Because I'm not saying David Moyes is normal, but I would assume you'd want to play some you want to play Kudus, you want to drop Souček, you want to just go through him for the off, maybe get a quick goal or two, and then their heads will go down. But we know that's not what he's risk adverse rather than a risky manager, isn't it? And he's very pragmatic. So we know he's going to play Souček. We know he's going to. He might throw a curve. Occasionally, he does it. Once in a while. He forgets who he is for once.
Yeah, no, exactly.
He just forgets, and then he goes back to type. But yeah, no, it's Oh, I don't know. I'm a bit nervous. As you said, you're totally right. It's these games I'm more nervous for because
Mm.
we know we've both been West Ham. I mean, how long you been a Hammer then, Rory? Now,
So as long as I can remember, really, it
good answer.
was, it's always been my dad's side of the family. And then growing up, I kind of lost a bit of like contact with my dad's side. So through that, I lost contact with just football generally, to be honest. And then through my teenage years, I started playing it a bit more, started watching it a bit more, and then it kind of brought it all back. So yeah, just been like a roller coaster for being a Hammers fan. But the past few years have been a dream, to be honest. Like 3 years consecutive European football.
Exactly.
Like last summer was probably the best memory I've had as a West Ham fan, and even went to like the parade in Stratford because
Yeah.
I'm living in Hackney at the moment, so not too far
Oh,
away.
so you could literally, it's a piece of piss
Yeah,
to get down.
exactly. So it was just like, yeah, that the summer was amazing. I mean, I'm obviously not talking about the Prem. That's
It
that
don't
was
matter when you won, sorry, innit? Don't matter when you won, sorry.
exactly. We're European champions, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters, indeed. We are championship. It was quite funny at the Man City game, though, when we were all the whole stadium was singing "Champion of Europe." That's what we are. And it's like, well, you're seeing technically you're quite a little bit more like higher up champions than we are, but doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
That's great though.
So obviously, the band has seemed to, we'll talk about all the stuff. You got the tour coming up soon and stuff like that. Is it tricky? Because I know lots of musicians and comedians, and obviously most games now are either on a Sunday or a Saturday, and obviously you're gigging or whatever. Is it really hard to try and balance that out between obviously your job and and actually going to see the footy?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Like it's trying to find the right times to watch it, really. If not, it's just a match of the day job in the evenings.
Yeah.
But like we're still very early on. Like obviously, music industry now, you're getting paid pennies for Spotify streams and whatnot. So like we're all still like working other jobs, just to keep living, really. So
Yeah.
but part of that is like part-time work, weekend work. So then that's another thing to take us away from like watching football at the weekends. So yeah, it's never easy, but I try and watch it as much as I can. And I know I've missed the last couple weekday matches. I know the Carabao Cup on Wednesday wasn't on telly, but
yeah,
I watched highlights of that. I watched the Europa League highlights last week. So I'm still yet to fully witness Kudus. I just want to see him play this weekend because I'm seeing the highlights, and the West Ham admin team are just loving him at the moment. He's an issue on every social media post, but
they are, man.
Yeah,
they are, man. And obviously, as I said, we got you got the tour. That must be exciting. You got your tour. We got loads of good dates. Obviously, London and various others. We'll put it up on the socials. But let me take it off. Otherwise, you can only see half the fucking dates.
Yeah.
So all over the place. That must be exciting, man. It must be exciting, particularly from where the band was to go to this nationwide tour. That's really cool. And as I said, tour lot. What's tour life like?
Well, this is like our first proper tour, so we're relatively new band. Like we've only been gigging for the past like 2 years, kind of building it up since then. The singer and I, we've been living together for ages, like best mates, and we've been writing these songs for about 6 years now. So it's good to finally see it coming through and performing these songs live. Because I think COVID had a big part to play in just like a delay in it all and putting it on the back burner. So yeah, it's relatively fresh. So this tour is going to be very new for us. We've only done small kind of like weekend tours, like 3 dates here and there, but this is the full shebang. So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting. It's it's going to be probably friend sofas, travel lodges, all that stuff, all that like the glory days of early bands and whatnot.
Yeah,
Kind of
it's
trying
cool,
to make
man.
the most of it.
No, it's cool. It's as you said. It's been developing for the last couple of years now. So as you said, it seems like you're getting something now. Is it? You got the track on board. Give me love. It's mental. It was like I listened to it the other day, and I will try and I can't play the one on Spotify because it's got rude words in it, but it does. So, but it's very good. So go honestly, give it a listen on Spotify. It's really good. It just it's very catchy. It's very catchy. And the thing about West Ham, and the thing about the West Ham, fan base, and you'll know it as well, is they always love helping out one of their own. So obviously, we get you on. It says Brat Band. If anyone's around those areas, we'll put the dates up on the socials as well. Get down and support a West Ham boy doing living his dream. You want to be full-time musician, and it's great. And it's, as I said, it's. There's the other one, but I really like this one. I really like this tune. I don't like genres, and I like songs. I don't like genres. I like this song here and that song there. And this one is definitely. I will get Ed to send me a naughty words taken out of it version.
Yeah, we got a clean version somewhere, so we'll send that across. We got a radio version, so
that's it. The radio version, not the naughty one. And we'll get a play out on the stadium as well, because it's and we'll video it, and so you've got it there, because it's I do it quite a lot for a lot of people, because it's you're a West Ham fan, you want to hear your song playing at West Ham, and we do it quite often with various others. And there's plenty others. You got like Governor B, who's really sort of invested with in the club, particularly being Ghanaian as well, and being Kudus, sort of work together. And we've got some questions for you as well, Rory.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go. How did Rory view the number? We don't say his name.
Yeah.
It's like
it's like Voldemort.
Yeah, exactly. The captain formerly known as. What was your take on the whole 41 situation?
Obviously, like everyone, I was gutted, but like it felt like a long time coming. Like there was rumors every summer that will he be going, will he not? I think the biggest surprise for me was that he chose Arsenal. I kind of understand where he's coming from with Arteta. He's building something, and it's obviously working. Like they did well last season, but I'm surprised he didn't go to like City, to be honest, just to get some trophies under his name, because that's what he wants for his career.
That's essentially, what anyone wants, really, isn't it? That's what
exactly.
Wants.
And I don't know if Arsenal are going to give him that right away, but hopefully never. But yeah, like everyone's saying about him returning to the London Stadium for the Carabao Cup. Like, do you boo him? Do you cheer him? It's just like, I think it's now at the point you just treat him like a normal player from another team. It just kind of. I think
anyone is like any sort of, unless I don't know, because certain players who left the club who'll get. So when we play Wolves and Dawsey's name gets read out, everyone's gonna get like a hero's 100%. Welcome. Yeah. And I mean, the fact is he will go down in our history as being one of our own, or hopefully more than one soon. Hopefully Zuma will be the next one to lift the trophy. But three captains ever. Bobby Moore, Billy Bonds, and Declan Rice. He's always going to be there. So
yeah,
he'll get a little clap. That's it.
Yeah, that's all he needs.
That's all he needs. It's almost like an appreciation. Yep, thank you. Now that's it. We'll move on. Incidentally, I've just had it looks like Wednesday. Anyone who's interested, Wednesday evenings, Wednesday the 1st of November will be the game against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup. Could be a 7:30 kickoff, as it's been selected by Sky Sports. So there we go. Anyway, nice. Breaking news. I've just had the email through, so we'll see. And obviously he comes to West Ham a little bit earlier than we thought he was going to come back. With the Carabao Cup. So and being the Carabao Cup, he might get dropped. He might not play.
Yeah. The thing is, since he's left, though, what I've noticed, like this is the most. Like I don't know if you see it the same way, but for me, it's just like the most well-rounded West Ham squad I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And it's just like getting Ward-Prowse in, getting Alvarez in. Like it's just, I don't know what it is. It just brings us all together, and we're playing like a full-on squad. Like, I mean, the Liverpool match, the second half was a bit hard to watch. But we started that game just like I thought, like brilliantly. Like we were just on the front foot. Like there was a lot of pressure going forward, and yeah, it's just great to kind of see that in the team.
Yeah, you're totally right, man. You're totally right. It's a thing where obviously, you know, doing what I do at the club, it's like, you know, as I said, this season has vibes of, I'd say, the first season and a half when Moyes came in during like the COVID bit, in terms of the togetherness of the team. And I don't think it's a coincidence in terms of that. I don't think it's a coincidence. So yeah. So no, I think for me, I think it does seem, you know, it's difficult when you get someone who's so head and shoulders over everyone, and he was, in all honesty. The others must have had some sort of a little bit of reluctance, a little bit of frustration. I mean, you know, makes sense they would, but it's we'll wait and see what happens. We'll wait and see what happens. Right.
Exactly.
Okay. Some more questions for you. It's nice, isn't it? Dennis, lovely Dennis. Newly discovered your band via Mark Speller. Very good. Any plans for more Spotify releases?
Yeah.
More. Dennis wants more, Rory.
Yeah, there will be more coming. So yeah, we should be looking at a couple more singles this year, and then early start next year, a few more, and then see where we go from there. So yeah, we're looking at probably towards the end of October, early November, maybe some new material out there.
Oh, cool. Very good. Very good. Favorite hammer of all time, says Danny.
Oh, that's a tough one. It's got to be two for me. I think just for being a legend and every aspect, every part of my life watching West Ham, this fella's always been there, and it's got to be Mark Noble for that sense. Just being the legend that he is. But pure excitement, Payet. That season with Payet was just.
Do you think we're getting close? Do you think we're getting close to having a new Payet in Lucas Paqueta?
He's getting there. You know what? Last season, I thought I was a bit skeptical. It's taken him a while to sort of fit in, especially to just like the Premier League style of playing and the pressure of the Premier League. But these days, yeah, he's just his passing and the way he just dribbles past players is ridiculous. Like he's always getting out of sticky situations. He's always playing the perfect balls to Bowen, to Antonio. So he's getting there. I don't think he's quite. I mean, they're two very different players, I guess. Yes. Like Payet was like very speedy on the wing, but that excitement level is pretty much there with Paqueta.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're probably right. I think where Payet sort of hit the ground running a little bit, it's taken Paqueta. Similarly, coming from Liga, same as Paqueta, but taking a little bit more. So as Payet, a little bit more to get going. Now I think he's, you know, we're seeing obviously you got to be some player to get clapped off by the home and away fans when you're playing for the opposition, like he did against Liverpool. And I think that to me shows where he can be in terms of his levels. I just wish he'd do it another 10 yards up the pitch a little bit more. Yeah. It's great doing all the flicks and tricks, and we love seeing it because it's great for the highlight. Yeah. It's great for the, you know, it's great for match of the day, but it's great for your TikToks, but a little bit higher up. And I think you'd see, you know, just to help the old Fantasy Football League points more than anything. You get fuck all for doing it at the back there. You can hoof
exactly. Exactly. I'd love to see him score some more goals as well. That goal he scored against Liverpool last season was beautiful. So
top man. He's a top man.
More of that.
Will we win a trophy this year, says Scott? We're getting greedy now. We've had one in 43 years.
I know, we've had one. Yeah. That's a tough question. Europa's going to be tough, but I think we'll do well this year.
Yeah.
But all I'm going to say is I'm hopeful. Yeah. I can't predict any trophies, but I'm hopeful.
I genuinely think if we get past the arse on in November in the next round, I think we've got a great shout. So obviously we're through to the quarterfinals, so there's 1 in 8 chance of winning. But it's the easiest way to get into Europe again. I think Europa League's going to be a little bit tricky because you never know, you know, the Champions Leagues, people that might have a really shit group or a really tough group and they get dropped in, and it's always a bit near. But I expect us to win our group in the champion
Yeah.
in the Europa.
Yeah, exactly.
Freiburg, I think the only tough opposition, but apart from that,
that's going to be tricky.
So yeah, and the FA Cup's the FA Cup, and you know people forget about the Carabao because it's so early on, and But if you get that back, if you could get that done and dusted, that's finished by February. You know,
exactly.
Then you're you can almost like not take your foot off your pedal, but you can go, okay, we can enjoy this bit now. Maybe we can play some more expansive football.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen, my friend. Right, what we got? Any more questions or anything? That's my brother. 1st November. Yeah, exactly, Tom. Yeah, 7. I think it's a 7:30 kickoff. We don't text. We just communicate over there.
Oh, nice.
Over this. So obviously, we've got obviously Sheffield United this weekend. Then we've got the Europa League back against Freiburg, where there's no fans going. As a musician, obviously you love playing in front of a crowd, don't you? So having a crowd not there in terms of West Ham fans not being at Freiburg, it's going to be a real tough order for the lads, I think, next week, because Freiburg aren't no mugs. They're a good side. I think sometimes we underestimate them a little bit, but yeah. What's the biggest crowd you've played in front of?
Oh, that's. I mean, as I said, we're still very early stages, so we're kind of building it up more and more. But probably I think a couple hundred, maybe.
Yeah.
At this point, yeah, I think about a couple.
But that's what it's all about, isn't it? That's what it's all about. Playing in front of live audiences. As I said, to get the buzz. And so many opportunities now with all festivals and stuff, as well as all these venues. As I said, we'll put it up again. We've got so we've got some big cities, Bristol, all the big cities. Got up Scotland as well, Glasgow, Edinburgh, be good fun. It's be cold though, mid-November, be very cold up there. Newcastle fucking freeze up there as well. And then you get warmer towards the end of so London, Brighton, Norwich. We've got fans all over the country, so I'm sure go out and support Rory, a massive West Ham fan, Flat Party, good band. So go and check out their single on singles. I think got 3 or 4 on Spotify now. So, but I really like the latest one. I really like the latest one. It's really good, man.
Cheers, mate.
And as I said, if I get the clean version, we'll be playing it at London Stadium. As I said, I'll talk to Ed afterwards and make sure we get the clean version. We'll try and get it out.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we'll get it sent across.
Good, mate. Right, you go and chill out for the rest of the day, or you probably got to go work now.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'll have a bit of lunch and then have a bit
of lunch, then go do some work. Why don't you, man?
Exactly. Yeah.
And we'll catch up soon, man. Speak to you soon, bud.
Nice one. Cheers, Russ, mate.
Cheers, mate. Care. Cheers, bud. Bye. There we go. There's Rory from Flat Party, West Ham fan, young band. Thought, get him on, show a bit of love, show a bit of the old West Hamness, help a lad out when it comes to starting his career. He's a nice guy as well, massive West Ham fan. And do you know what? That track is really good, and I'm not bullshitting. That is a really good track. It's a little bit Arctic Monkeys-y. I do want to say it in case he was like, that's not what he wants to go for, but it does sound a bit like that. It's really nice, really good. And apparently it's all about just being horny. So according to the bio. So all about that. might as well listen to it rather than getting here. Right, but check it out on Spotify. Top man indeed. So let's go through some comments. Let's talk about the game coming up. If anyone wants to come and have a chat, I can't get the phone stuff to work at the moment. If anyone wants to come and have a chat, feel free. There is there's the link, and just have a chat about the game. We'll go for some comments. From Mo, is there doing a watch along? Yes. Anton should be along for the watch along on Saturday. Could be on Sunday, but the game's on Saturday. So there we go. What we got here, I think Europe is best chance of trophy, which is crazy. We need to go 2 shots. I generally don't think it is, Danny, honestly, because you've only got now Arsenal quarters. Is a semi 2 legs? I've got a feeling it might be. So yeah, so last 16 quarters, semis, final. 5 games, and you're in Europe now. So and we've only had to win 1 game. So you actually only have to win 6 games if you've already qualified for Europe, and you are you win win a cup, rather than we've still got to play. We still have we've got 6 games. is it 6 games? Yeah, 6 games in the what's name in the group stages. Plus, then we've got 2 legs for we win the group, 2 legs for the last 16, 2 legs for the quarters, 2 legs for the final, semis and the final. So it's about 14 games, something like that. Only if we win third of our group, I think we'll get at least quarterfinals. I think we'll get quarterfinals. We always get stitched up in domestic cups. Need to go a lot stronger Thursday than last European game. You're totally right, Peter. It's going to be a tough game, particularly with no fans as well, no home fans, away fans rather. They're West Ham fans there. By the way, is Matt on that? Yeah, he is. He's coming back. He's coming back. He's had a lot of stuff. He's moved house. He's had to get all the new PCs and stuff. Matt will be back. We'll be getting Stato back on soon. I promise you. He's still very, very much part of the network. It's just, as always, with all these things, life takes over. Yep, Flat Party, nice guys. He is. He's a lovely guy as well. Just had a quick. Done it. And if you can all go and have a listen to it on Spotify, because that boosts it up. I think they're on the new bands, the UK new bands playlist. But if we can help get Flat Party, get the track out. I really like it. On board, give me love. It's very good. As I said, it is a bit arty monkeysy, but I really, really enjoy it. What we got here? Let's go from your. Will there be a second game in a row against a similar low block? Will this be a opposition? I don't know, Scott. That's the trouble in it with West Ham, and particularly games like this. There has been occasions under the Moyes era where he's played a more attacking game, particularly away from home. I'm thinking Wolves when it was Jesse Lingard's first game. I think Burnley as well. We really came out the traps as well. So yeah, possibly. As we were saying at the beginning, Scott, I mean, personally, I would love Kudus to start and Suchek to be dropped. There might be justification in that happening because you think about it. We've had Kudus. Obviously, he played on Wednesday, and so Tommy Suchek played the whole 90 minutes on Wednesday as well. And I was thinking, maybe because Suchek played, maybe Kudus, but then Kudus played the whole game as well. So I think you'll see both. I think you'll see him on the bench, and I think he will start with Suchek. He'll always go risk adverse first, and then second half he might, if it's still 0-0 or maybe if it's still 0-0 at half time, I reckon he might do a double sub at half time because he has been doing subs, trying to do a little bit earlier. Last couple of games, not so much because he hasn't been, but he has, tried to throw the dice a little bit more quickly. I think the presence of Johnny Heitinga there is helping that definitely. Kudus and Paqueta are far above everyone in that team. None of them are supposed to be benched in any tough match. I agree. Will Dino get a start? I don't think he will at the moment. I think Aged still gets a nod, and that's no slight on Dino, but I think that Aged is still seen. As I said, I am not in favour of players playing on the wrong side of their dominant foot. And I think, realistically, Aged is left-sided, Dino is the right-sided, and then Zouma is the captain. So for me, it's clear it's Aged and Zouma. I think if you start seeing Aged if he has an absolute mare on tomorrow, then quite possibly. So I think then it's one too many. But Moyes isn't one of those managers who tends to throw people under the bus like that a little bit. He tends to sort of stick to his generals, and unless something really, really bad happens, or there's an injury or suspension, then you don't really see much change. Which is a bit frustrating, I know, because I'd like to see Dino giving a run out. I think he'd be very, very good. He's got pace. There is also the option of going to a back three as well, with Zouma in the middle and Dino playing the right side and Agüero playing the left side. So there are options there. I would love to see him change it up for tomorrow, but I just don't think he will. because I think the pressure's too much on him not to lose tomorrow. He has to get a result tomorrow, and so it will be stick to what we know. It will be, and as much as that frustrates us, unfortunately, we're not a dugout, so we can't do anything about it really, and we don't make any decisions. Is Matt coming back? Yes, Matt is coming back. I think we are a strike and fullback way short of Europa League. Take third place and win conference again, giving us 2 more windows to go at Europa again. I think we'll end up winning our group, Happy Amaret, this year. So it's between us and Freiburg, and I just think, I think we'll qualify at the group, but I'd like to think we'd win it. Freiburg obviously they won 3-2, didn't they? So we went above them on goal difference. But Yeah, I mean the obvious thing would be just to drop it, as you said, would be to drop, and but that won't happen. We need to score more goals. Apart from the Europa game, we've only scored 1 goal in the last 3 games we have, but we did keep our first clean sheet this week. This didn't we? With bloody the mighty Lincoln. We got we've got a guest. We've got a guest. Let's bring Dennis on. I haven't seen Dennis for ages. There he is.
You're going to regret this in 5 minutes, ain't you?
No, not at all. How you doing, friend? Nice to see you.
I'm good. You caught me on my lunch break, so
that's the idea. That's the idea. Friday lunch live.
Idea. It's one of the few lunch breaks where I'm not having to go to Asda. So
enjoy. Days. Why is that? Is it because you got like it's Friday night takeaway or?
Nah, because I was sensible. I've done my food shop Monday and not thrown stuff away because I forgot to use it before it's out of date.
Done a big shop. A big shop. Clever, resourceful.
As big a shop as you can do in a HMO, but hey, a big shop nonetheless.
Still a shop of some description, which has kept you in food until the weekend. Are you looking forward to tomorrow? I'm really nervous about tomorrow. I'll be honest.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to. I don't think there's any games I air quote dread based on the performance we've had this season. Like last season, okay, yeah, I was dreading Leicester. I was dreading Brentford because Brentford was very much at home. Was very much like, come on, we got to get something, and within 5 minutes, it was clear it was the status quo. But I wouldn't say I dread it. Am I as confident as some of the people in the comments? Absolutely not. I'm seeing most people saying 3-0. I mean, obviously, clean sheets are a bit of a problem for us, as you just said before coming on. And I often joke that as part of the agreement in the courts, we have to give them a goal every time we play them. So because of that, that's our excuse for conceding. But it is right. Like as much as like you meant, I haven't actually watched the video, but like Hal does have the point where there is more pressure on us.
Oh, totally.
Because of the comments, what you've said, like or comments on your channel where it says like everyone's expecting like a 3-0 or whatnot.
Yeah.
I reckon it'll be a better game. They gave Spurs a really good game, admittedly a lot of time wasting. I got hammered by Newcastle. I think that's more the style Newcastle played. Like they hammered Villa, for example. And I do agree with I think you touched on it earlier, and it's been touched on in the comments. Like Moyes' instincts to play relatively defensively, go for that safe 1 or 2-0 win. You know, as long just look at Newcastle, Liverpool down to 10 men. As long as the other opposition are still in it, you're in danger, and that's what I always worry about West Ham. So we always are.
That's something that Hal said. Actually, he's like, if football hadn't introduced these stupid, extra time rules, they would have had a few more points in the bag. Because I think it was Spurs. I think they went down to an extra time goal, and another game an extra time goal, and they, so. It doesn't paint the great. He goes, the longer we go into extra time, the more I get worried because that's when we just, for some reason, just capitulate completely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's it's like I think people look at the result and go, okay, they won 8-0. Yeah, they lost 8-0. Yeah, they'll be hurting, and it'll be like their pride. And someone like Paul Heckingbottom will say, look, you're not shit players. You've got us promoted. You go and show them. The pressure's off. Go and show them you can play. They think you're down already.
And the West Ham way very much is we're going to lose 1-0 to Sheffield United. Like, remember that time when Sunderland had gone, I think, 10 hours of football without scoring under David Moyes, ironically, and we conceded twice, one of which was straight from a corner, and the other was when Randolph decided to punch it.
Yeah,
when he could have just caught it, and they caught him off. I can't remember who it was, but someone caught him off his line. Like we are just that team that teams end their run against, and it's just going to happen now. It's like
always.
Actually, I made a meme in the week on a Simpsons football posting group where it's like it's Drederick Tatum, and it's like Sheffield United. Society laughed at Sheffield United for losing 8-0, but now they're going to get revenge on West Ham. it's like that's literally what's going to happen. They're out for revenge, and they're playing the team that they, despite there being so many Yorkshire clubs around them, for some reason they hate us the most. But
that's what he says. That's it's like I did allude to the fact that I used to go to Bramwell Lane quite a bit when I was at uni because my housemate was a Sheffield Wednesday fan, and he went, I don't know who I hate more. you or your mate. It's like fair enough, Al. All the best.
and it does make me laugh whenever I had a Sheffield United fan at uni that would come up with all these stories of stuff that just didn't happen. Like, I don't want to make it about the Tevez event. Like, one of my favorite ones, I hear this a lot, is going about Trevor Brooking was on the panel, and it was like Trevor Brooking was not on the panel. It was a Premier League panel, not an FA panel for starters, so nothing to do with Trevor Brooking. And then they could go, oh, there's loads of West Ham bigwigs in the Premier League. Okay, I went full Christopher Hitchens and just went name one.
Yeah.
Just kept saying name one. Just name one West Ham bigwig that was on that panel in the Premier League, because none of them were, because there's a conflict of interest. But yeah, the amount of excuses and stuff I hear over there, like yeah, absolutely, I understand why they're aggrieved, but all they needed was a point against Wigan, and they managed to throw that away.
Yeah.
So it was in their own hands. They were 11 points clear with 6 games to go. I mean, come on, lads. But back to the point is that it's the pressure's on, and they're going to really want to beat us, and it's typical West Ham to beat Chelsea, be really competitive against City and Liverpool, and then lose 2-0 to Sheffield United. That's the West Ham I grew up with.
This is the West Ham we've all grown up with. But then I see things like the Brighton game. Obviously, haven't beaten them. In 12 times, we beat them 13th time, lucky. And so sometimes it's like these things a little bit less West. Like, again, that Lincoln game, we would have lost that under West Ham. I'm thinking about, do you remember Kidderminster Harriers as well? We would have probably lost that one if it weren't for a number 41, good goal. It's going to be, it's a sellout. It's going to be, and the thing is, it's one of those things where the fans, the needle's going to be between the fans. The players probably won't have a fucking clue why everyone hates each other, but it's going to be the fans. It's going to be really good atmosphere, I think. It's going to be really a little bit hostile. I like it. There's only one Carlos Tevez and all that singing, and there'll be loads of Tevez masks and stuff like that. Tevez will want to know why he's trending on Twitter in East London, but he will be. But I'm really looking forward to it. I'm just nervous because I said it's been ingrained in us so many years about West Ham, and these are the type of games that we just slip up at, and we can't if we've got aspirations of trying to finish as high as we can. I mean, I've always said our league's probably about 6th to 12th. Realistically, that's where we should be. That's our little league. And hopefully we push, obviously, if you win that league or you push very high that league, you're in Europe, realistically. So I think there's a real opportunity, because actually, if you look at the table now, although it's only half a dozen games gone, there is a little gap, a couple of points gap starting to break away between us and the teams above us. So just to stop, that it being such an obvious, you win and you're in the same position. I hate that. I like you win and you go up 3 places at the moment, because it's all just crazy at the moment. So, and also going into the Freiburg game, next week.
That a lot of people discounting Freiburg. Their manager is like, they have how they work. Because a good friend of mine is a Freiburg fan.
Yeah.
How they work is he has no tactics. He just has American football style playbooks on how to exploit opposition. Yeah. Their entire success has been based on opposition analysis, which is what we're quite weak at, and also we're quite predictable. But they came within, I think, 1 or 2 points of Champions League football this season.
Yeah,
like their manager is like it's a really lazy comparison, but the only thing I can compare him to is a bit like Sam Allardyce, but not the style of football. In that he's a very long-standing manager. So this is like Sam Allardyce at Bolton, and we're at the end days now. He's been at Freiburg since they were in the second Bundesliga and things like that. But yeah, they're going to have our number. Absolutely. They're going to be probably play 5 at the back for corners. They're going to, they consistently just switch their lineups up depending on the opposition. And they're the team in the Bundesliga that no one enjoys going to. They're away as well. And we'll have no fans as well.
No, exactly. I mean, they've been. I mean, I was reading some reports about them, and almost like in terms of the way the media in Germany looks at them, it's almost a bit like Brighton-esque. The sort of media darlings, because as you said, it's something different, like De Zerbi ball. It's something different, as you said, it's more play by play sort of tactics. And so, yeah, I don't think we've come up against a side like, well, maybe like a Brighton, but I'd say they're a bit more out there than Brighton. But I think it's a side that I think we didn't take. People are like, oh, okay, well, that's because no one's heard of them, but they still finished, was it 5th last year in the Bundesliga? That's
5th, yeah, came very, very close to they came very, very close to Champions League football, just missed out to Union Berlin, another team that thingy, and they've got a main striker who's a bit like their Antonio, so to speak, journeyman striker that's now one of their record goal scorers. Really big guy, Nils Peterson. He's getting on now, but he's like effectively their Antonio in that he somehow manages to score 8 to 10 goals a season, but no one really rates him.
Yeah,
It's quite bizarre, really. He's not as athletic as Antonio, but it's the same sort of reputation of, oh, we need to replace him. But then it's a bit like that Thanos meme. You know, where did you come to? Back to me. He's always gets dropped. They always decided another striker to replace him. They always end up going back to him. So there is some interesting, but equally Mavropanos will be one to start in that game because he'll know them. He's spent last 2 years. I wouldn't say him inside out, but he spent last 2 years in Bundesliga. I'd give Aguerd one. Because I'm noticing the comments. I would play Aguerd against Sheffield United because it might be a bit of a confidence builder for him.
Yeah.
You know, his speed.
It's going to make or break him, innit? It's going to make or break him. I think if he has a good game, then he carry on that trajectory. If not, then it's. I mean, I think it's a make or break game for him in terms of the current run. I think if he has another poor game, then that's sort of 3. You could probably say, well, the trouble is, you know, one was Man City, one was Liverpool, but it was unlucky against Liverpool, I think, actually. So yeah, I would still play him just because I hate playing. I mean, the Ged's worst games last season were when he was playing on the right side, when Oggy was playing left side. And that's because he was playing on the wrong side as well. It's like, I hate it. You know, I mean, I know
for me, I reckon I'd like to see him at left back one Europa game. See what he does at left back. I mean, Emerson's really grown on me at first. Like a signing, I remember we were out in Benidorm with the West Ham Way lads, and they were just like, "Why have we signed Emerson? He's not of defense. He's not a flat back 4. No. What are we doing here?" And then like our man of the match for the final, pretty much. If you take away the notoriety of the goal, the Bowen score was obviously got to go to Bowen. It's like actually Emerson was our best player in the Conference League final for me. But yeah, I'd like to see him at left back because I think his attributes are a lot more suited to maybe not the best crosser of the ball, perhaps, but more of a left back. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
I know what you mean. Where are we going to finish then?
Oh, well, I've had to revise my position because beginning of the season, if I'm allowed to plug another channel, on Bill West Garage Football, we did a season prediction of the whole table, which is difficult. You've got to pick each position. Yeah. Because my preference is more of a boundary than an actual position. But each of us, myself, Mark and Bill, all had West Ham finishing 11th. This was before we had signed anyone, no mind. But yeah, I might revise that now to an 8th or a 9th if we continue the way we're going. I think certain teams will pick up steam and be in sort of the Europa places. I mean, I feel also that, it's an easy stereotype to say, but I do feel that Brighton will drop off a little bit, but I reckon they'll comfortably get Europa League football again if they carry on the way they're going. So the best we're going to look at is probably Conference League again, but I think we're going to come just shy. But in that prediction, I did predict we're going to win a treble in the League Cup, FA Cup, and the Europa League, and we could get Champions League football. So there was that prediction as well. I mean, and in that prediction, I'd throw it away because I predicted Chelsea to come third. Because I thought, no European football, Pochettino.
That's what I thought as well.
And Nkunku up top. And then, as we're recording it, in the chat, I get the message, Nkunku's out injured. And I'm like, as we're doing the summing up, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I felt exactly the same. Didn't happen to Liverpool a couple of years ago. They had no European football. End up they might have won the trophy, won the title that year, or they came second or something.
They came runners up. That was when everyone somehow thought Brendan Rodgers was going to be like the next big thing and talk about him being an England manager, and it's like, no, Luis Suarez and determination from Gerrard pulled that one through, and no team with Simon Mignolet in goal is ever going to win the title.
That's a good point.
Harsh but fair.
Harsh but fair. Then, man, been a pleasure as always, Dennis. As always, my friend. Loved having you on. Come on more often, man. Come on more often.
That's all right. Yeah, I'll we'll talk about it. But yeah, definitely. And yeah, I look forward to stuff. And thank you for continuing to play the game by Motorhead at London Stadium, because
we always play because it's Triple H and he's
but I remember beginning of last season on another channel I used to be on, we said one thing was if there was one song we wanted to bring in, what would it be? That was my pick. And then a couple of weeks later it started playing. So coincidence, I'm sure, but we jokingly said that's because Russ watches Garage Football is what we said.
Well, there we go. There we go. On that bombshell.
On that bombshell. Good night.
Cheers, then. Take care.
Yeah.
There we go. Lovely to see Dennis on there. Lovely to see Dennis from Garage Football. Anyway, let's have a look. Let's go for a few more comments, then we're going to have to go. We'll be back later with the presser, which is taking about 20 minutes time. Tommy B says we should be licking our lips with the type of goals Sheffield United have conceded this season. JLP for your fantasy team. Is he my fantasy team? No, he's in there. I put him in there, so hopefully it'll be good. No, I've done Haaland captain. And I've got Julian Alves. He might not be good enough for David Moyes, but he's good enough for Rusty B as vice captain, just to go for it. Actually, speaking of, don't forget, Holly's got a thing. What's my time? I'm on almost 400 points. I am 9th in the West Ham network. Unbelievable, Jeff. Has Randolph played a game? No, but he had a baby with Alexandra Burke the other day. Tom's on 375. And there we go. A few shockers. Unbelievable, Jeff. Rush, you do realize most teams of history have been dumped onto by low. Yeah, but it's all, I think it's all relative, isn't it? We see ourselves, because we're West Ham, we see ourselves in that position. We're like, we're always going to lose because we're playing Kidderminster or insert name here. But in recent times, we've done okay. I mean, obviously the likes of Blackburn, we got knocked out of the Carabao Cup last year, but with what's his face, with Areola missing 11 Blackburn reserve penalties. Anyway, let's go through a few comments and we're going to go. Ali reckons it's going to be a 2-2. We need to build Aguirre's confidence. He's a classy player. He was excellent in Lincoln. The weather was tropical storm-like. Yeah, but you know Areola's got the jersey, mate, which you're more than happy about. You're on 400.5 points. Shut up. Yes, we need to get that. And why is Matt so tanned? I have no idea. So GP is referring to the emojis. So if you're a channel member, you get access to all the emojis and stuff, and actually also exclusive content. So like today, after the press conference, obviously we put out our video on the channel, and then the members get Jordan Davis, who's journalist, West Ham's journalist for the Sun, giving his analysis live from Rush Green. So it's always cool. Not signing a proper striker will cost us a chance of going for 6th. 6th? Jesus, Pete, you're being a bit presumptuous. Happy Hammer is smashing my brother. That's not it's not something I've ever thought I'd say, as because he's a happily married man with 2 children. But anyway, any of our defenders would have made a mistake going against Salah. Well, I suppose, Joel, that it's just because it was a Ged, and actually, if the ball was unlucky because it was deflected and he was wrong-footed, and so naturally Salah's going to get a penalty, and then you got a situation with the Nunes goal that wasn't a Ged's fault; it was Zuma's fault. So. There we go. Other players on form on bench. Madness indeed. You're totally right. You're totally right, Aldi. It's down if you do, down if you don't. To be honest, I'd play a Geds tomorrow, and it could. And thing is, if you don't play him, then you've got a bloody good defender there who's low in confidence, and he's not going to get his confidence back. Yes, he might play against Freiburg maybe, but I'd start him there. I'd start him on Wednesday. Or Saturday rather, for sure. I'd just play the right defender for the right game again when we've got possession. But Bonner up against City or Liverpool. I wouldn't put a Bonner near anywhere now, mate. Not my. I think he ain't at it. He's at it now. What's the fantasy code? I don't know. You have to ask Holly, because Holly set it all up. Can I do it here? Does it say me here? Can I do it here? Does it say? I don't know. Options. Have you got the link there? Nope. I don't know. You have to ask Holly, because Holly organised it. Russ, why does JWP get assists but others get corners? Good point. Russ, do you think Moyes will have any surprises in the lineup? No. Nope. Not at all. And so we haven't had the press conference yet. It could change. He might say Souček's injured or but unless there's been any significant developments to the press conference, which I don't think there will be, because they're not very, and also from Sheffield United, I mean, could have up to 9 players out for them. Although, again, go listen to Howard's interview this morning with me. He said that Paul Heckingbottom basically doesn't say anything in his press conferences, so much so that he actually has already done his preview for the game before doing the press conference, because he knows Heckingbottom's not going to say nothing interesting. So I don't think you'll see any changes. I think he goes. And again, we'll do the what's it called? The particular 11 a couple of hours beforehand, but I think it's the 4-1-4-1. With Souček in there, and Paqueta is still on this sort of left-hand side, but not really left-hand side. Just leaves a massive gaping hole for someone like Emerson to run into. That's what I think is going to happen. But you never know. You never know. You never know. You never know. Is the Sheffield a Moyes clone when it comes to interviews? Can we filter £45 million players only coming on as sub? I think Kudus. I think basically the way I see it is, and again, I want him to start. I think he's an exciting player. He's dynamic. He's the type of player who fans get off their seat to watch because he's fast, he's direct, he's quick, he's got very quick. You can see why there's been people calling him, the Ghanaian Salah and people like that. But for me, we know that Moyes ain't going to pick him, and it's not because. And again, there's this rhetoric that it's because he's a Tim Steindl player. I don't think so. Last year, we started the Man City game having bought 8 new players. We spent £200 million. We didn't start any of them against Man City, and it took forever to get Skamaka to start. And then one or two sort of were bledded in as the season went on. But he very rarely puts people in straight away. The only exception this year is obviously JWP, who's his Premier League player, so that's why he assumes it works. And Alvarez, who isn't a Premier League player, which goes against what he was saying. But those were the only two, and I think because there was a need to put them in the side, because there was a need to put those positions. At the moment, I think they still haven't figured out what role Kudus is going to play. In terms of how so yes, he's played, he's cut since he's come on, he's played on the right, he's played as a 10, he's played as sort of a false 9 as well in terms of being moved in positions. I don't think Moyes knows the best position to play him yet, to fit in for West, to fit in his vision. I still think he should be playing on the left, but he's not a left-sided player naturally. But I think he could play that side. He's naturally right-footed, and we play inverted wingers. So if you played him on the right and on the left, Bowen on the right, then I think you would see the best of Kudus, because he'd be able to break through, be able to put balls over the top. He's possibly the antidote to our low block counter-attacking game in terms of giving you that real emphasis moving forward. But we don't know. We don't know. Didn't it take a while to give Paqueta a regular start of the season? Can't remember. It did, Joel, kind of. But again, I don't even think we know. I don't think Moyes knows Paqueta's best position for the club. You see, you put him on the left, he puts him 10, he runs 10. Look at his stats. He's got the most tackles. He's got the most passes. He's basically just got, he's top for almost any midfield metric. And yeah, as I said to Rory from Flat Party at the beginning, it's beautiful to see him do little flicks and tricks and stuff like that on the fucking, on our goal line. I want him to see it, do it further up. I want him to, go further up and do that. But at the moment, it's, I don't think we've seen, and again, it does have parallels to Carlos Tevez. When Carlos Tevez first joined West Ham, he was a headless chicken until basically someone, I think it might have been Curbs, basically said, you stay up front or we'll kick the ball to you. And then you saw a different Carlos Tevez. And I think you'd see the same. Paqueta doesn't need to do all that tracking back. I want Paqueta in the final half. I want him in the final third. We've got, a guy who should be playing for England. You've got a Mexican international. You've got a Czech Republic international if you want that as well. We've got enough midfielders to do the donkey work and put the boots in and, and put the tackles in, and then give it to someone like Paqueta to really hurt them in the final third. That's what I would like to do. But again, that's why I'm here talking to you, not a Rush Green with David Moyes. Would you be happy if Moyes is a good potential? Would you be happy as a good potential under 20 if Moyes gets an extension? Probably, if I'm an under 21, probably I would say probably depends where. I mean, look at someone like Obama; he's not getting the game time. Someone like Freddie Potts is getting game time, but doing the right thing and going on loan. And we had this debate the other day about, if Obama's getting 10 minutes there, 5 minutes there, no minutes there, how's that developing his game? How's that, yes, he's getting experience, doesn't being around the first team, but not actually getting on the grass. Now, for me, if Moyes gets a contract extension this year, he's had a good season. So that's good news for West Ham as a whole, as a fan base. We'd have maybe won a cup, or we'd qualified for Europe, or we'd had it'd be probably one of those two things, I think, would get him a contract extension. So although most fans don't want that, if it did happen, then it means we've done something well this year. Flip side is some of the play. I imagine some of the under 21s will be frustrated because of lack of game time. The fact is now we've got a squad now which is capable enough to playing two sides in essence without having to rely on or bring in under 21s, which for the type which I think I had this. I think it was Ludders in the chat like said something, and then I responded. I think you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you play the kids and we win, great, fantastic. But the thing is, next week you're not going to play them. So how does that develop their game? If you do play the kids and we lose, and we have like when Big Sam put them all out against Forest and we lost 5-0, that demoralised them. When Moyes brought on Mipu Adebeku for Man United and took him straight off, that demoralised him. Basically, fucked up his whole career at West Ham. So I think it's the fact is we've got, as well as moving Moyes aside, you've got a lot of people there like Stainton, like Noble, like Kenny Brown, who have the best interests of the kids. So, again, Noble's spoken about this pathway. The pathway we cannot really assess until another 3 or 4 years down the line. So we shall wait and see. Played well. Don't protect Bowen or Souček. Yeah, I'm not saying I think Kudus should play, but I don't think he will play. Because of, and it's not, I said I probably would drop Souček and play Kudus, but I'm a fat bloke talking to the microphone. I'm not at Rush Green. I'm not David Moyes, and that's the issue with us all. We've all got our own opinions, but the fact is they mean nothing really because we're not the one picking the side. So what does Moyes know? What does know other than low block defense? Well, sometimes he just randomly throw. I remember that as a couple of games, like around, it went a little bit when there was one game. I think it was Burnley or something where he put Lanzini in like the midfield, and it was like, okay, but we'll see. We can't pass or kick the ball. Paqueta looks like looking for the ball because we could not find him constantly. Yep, good shout. Moyes knows how to crush players. To crush 2 ripe bananas between his cheeks. Very good. Paqueta is a gem. Let him shine. I agree. Best way of paying Paqueta to take off the shackles and let him run free. Yes, but I would say the shackles, but just in the final, in their half, because I think then you can really hurt the players. It's just, if he's doing it on the byline or whatever, on our goal line, to save a corner, that's frills for the sake of it. I want it to be able to hurt the opposition. Not to prevent a corner for us or to get a goal kick for us. I want it to hurt the opposition to score a goal. And that's what I want to see Paqueta higher up. And I think you've got the manpower now to allow him to do that. But the trouble is we know that people like players who track back. Bring back the combinations league. I totally agree. That's the Dina downfall of youth development across the board, not just West Ham. Is the under 21 league. Doesn't help anyone. You're playing against kids your same age. So technically you're there. Technically they're all very gifted players. But if Callum Marshall came on the pitch tomorrow, he would get eaten up by their big burly defenders. He hasn't got the physicality. It's not saying he's a bad player because he's a bloody good player and he's top of the PL2 goal scoring record this season. But he hasn't got that physical, same as Patrick Kelly. I love him. He's a great player, really skillful, but he hasn't got the bulk, and you do need some physicality. I remember, like I said, look at Freddie Sears, who just signed for Dagenham and Redbridge. He came on this. He actually flew for that first game, and then did nothing really at West Ham. Did do nothing at all after that. Had a good career going down the leagues and going around the clubs, but I think he played for 8 or 9 different clubs. But that's the issue for me. It's always been the issue. It's a massive flow as a manager to never develop and include her. If it's good enough for Pep, it should be good enough for Moyes. Yes, Trini. I was looking at the sides that played the Carabao Cup, and from a Man City perspective, they had Bob, who has been playing. He came on against us, didn't he, Bob? I think as well. They didn't have anyone new, I'd say, on the bench, on like starting. Who in terms of same as Liverpool, not really anyone who you could say, he's a young lad coming through. So I think where traditionally we thought, this is the type of particularly Carabao was where you bled these players in. Looking through the sides, Newcastle, none of the academy players there. I'd suggest either were there. It was more the B team squads, and that's where you get into that situation now. Right. Plays a new game. Low blocks. We've come to park the bus. Very good. Anything happening before kickoff at the ground tomorrow? Any reason to leave the pub? I don't know, to be honest. Not all Premier League players have the bulk. Now, there's bulk. What I mean, bulk is, so if you look at someone like, it's the ability to play against players bigger than you. So look at David Silva for Man City, phenomenal player, but he was strong. He was not bulk, strength. He was strong, very, very strong player. Despite being quite diminutive in his size, he could hold his own against a Vieira or or something like that. Whereas Patrick Kelly, I don't think can at the moment. He needs to go out on loan and gets knocked about by loads of League One midfield, like Freddie Potter's doing now. He's having a great run at Wickham. That's what needs to happen. It shouldn't be seen as a downgrade to go out on loan. It should be part of your development. And if Mbama isn't being used, I'd suggest by January he needs to go. He needs to go out on loan. He needs to go and play for a Middlesbrough or go and play for someone like even a Scunthorpe, but anyone really, just to get game time and just to get reps. Just get reps, not raps. Get reps. So same with Callum Marshall. He's a great player, but he's not strong enough, I don't think, to hold his own in the Premier League. That's what I mean. Not bulk up, but strength. Antonio has the bulk he does. Bro, you can't compare our youngsters. Most of the youngsters play for international under 21s. Loads of us do. Don't forget West Ham won the under 18. We won the FA Youth Cup last year, beating the likes of Arsenal. For me, it's whole crazy. Kadu should start with Souček. Souček is giving me the Scarmacker vibes. My thoughts. Thank you very much. It would be a great shame to let Fornals go for free. I'd like to see him in a few games. He's gone, man. He's played. I think on Wednesday he played like he's going. There's an opportunity there to have taken that game by the horns and gone, right, I'm going to show you that I need to get in this side. And to be honest, I don't think he did it. Anyway, it's good to see me too. Anyway, as I said, make sure you check out my interview with Hal, which was up on the channel earlier today. We had the boys from Have Your West Ham View on yesterday, so check them out. Obviously, we had Rory from Flat Party on this afternoon as well. Go and check out his single as well. Give it a little share on little listen on Spotify if you do it today. Put it on your playlist. I'm bored. Give me love. Really, really good. I'm a big fan. And as I said, he's got his tour dates coming up soon in November and December. We'll get loads more new bands and kids starting out as well, because I think it's really important to help each other out, and that's what we're doing more often here and all that type of stuff. If you're new around here, as I said, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe. We'll be back in a bit with the Fallout synopsis from the Dave Moyes press conference. And I said, for our channel members, you'll also get Jordan Davis's from The Sun, his view of the press conference as well. Also, maybe tonight we might have Irish Tommy. Might not be going to Tipperary because he always seems to be going to Tip all the time. It's a long way to go apparently. So we may have the late show of Irish Tommy as well, to keep an eye on that. Yeah, we can make sure you don't miss anything is if I hit behind the subscribe button and hit the notification button and select all. So take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble. Also, next week we'll be doing our draw for October for the members draw. So you get entered in. We'll have 2 members raffle prizes. One, football signed by the Europa Conference League winners squad, and also we've got the 90-293 print, which is signed with pretty much most of that 92 main team, like Ludo and Potsy and Bish and Morley and Mark Robson, Kenny Brown, all those types of things. And also we should have some really good interviews come up very soon as well. So take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble. Much love. Bye-bye.